Don't try and beat Amazon at their own game by trying to be a price leader. Be a real brand with real benefits and real reasons why shoppers would buy your products instead of Amazon's. So consider some benefits to customers, like a guarantee that extends beyond Amazon's return policy of 30 days.
This is the E-commerce Braintrust, a podcast about building momentum online for established consumer brands. Join our hosts and their expert guests for high-level conversations about e-commerce strategies, trends, and innovations. Access our Braintrust and boost your brand's e-commerce potential.
Hello and welcome back to the Ecommerce Braintrust podcast. I am your host, Kiri Masters from Bobsled Marketing, and today's episode is a little bit of a rant-isode. Just want to prepare you all for that. The working title of this episode is Amazon, It's Not Your Platform, and this is in response to some articles that have come out recently and a lot of discussion around Amazon's suite of private label brands and the fact that they have begun promoting their own suite of products at the bottom of organic search results. And I'll link up to the article in the show notes in case you haven't seen this article, but it was one that came out from Eugene Kim at CNBC, a really great retail reporter there. And he reported on the fact that in some organic search results, Amazon has a little tagline that says, similar from our brands. And this can come up when you're searching for any type of product where Amazon has a house brand in that category. And there's understandably a bit of an outcry from brands saying that this isn't fair. This isn't a tool that we're able to use. It's not like an ad placement where we're able to also, bid on that ad placement. And this is a privilege that Amazon's giving themselves. It's not fair. So my response to that is it's not your platform. Amazon gets to decide the rules. They built this platform. It's their house. And when you're in their house, you have to play by their rules. So I just wanted to expand a little bit on that today. And also, I know that this is not something that brands really want to hear, that, Amazon is becoming more of a fierce competitor, not just to other retailers, but within their own product selection, of which brands have, national brands have had a valuable place. And now Amazon appears to be kind of pushing them out. So I want to also talk about what you can do if you're a brand in this situation. You're looking to, protect yourself against Amazon's private label suite of products, while also acknowledging that 50% of all online sales happen on Amazon today. So just to give a little bit of extra context around Amazon's private label offering, according to Scrape Hero, which is a data scraping service, Amazon's private label offering contains 6,825 products across over 100 identified private labels or brands. Interestingly, 4,674 of those, or like a good sort of 60%, 70% chunk of those, are in apparel. So some of these you've probably heard of, things like Amazon Basics, Pins On, Wickedly Prime. Some of these WAG, the new pet food brand, some of these Amazon has really promoted and, advertised throughout the site, made announcements. Everyone sort of recognizes those brands, particularly Basics. But a lot of those, particularly apparel brands, are not easily discernible as Amazon brands. So that's one thing to be aware of, I guess. Looking at just how quickly the array has grown, you can imagine this is taking up a lot of headspace within Amazon, and that there's a lot of people working on product assortment for these brands. So yeah, I don't want to downplay the fact that Amazon is using private labels as a significant expansion strategy. So I guess the question that has risen up in a lot of people's minds and made them concerned about this and created a lot of dialogue is, to what extent should Amazon be using their platform to push their own products versus being an open marketplace? And I think that the second part of that is why this is upsetting to a lot of people is because Amazon has always appeared to be an open marketplace. The search results are based on sort of clear and usually consistent criteria for ranking. So you need to have a product that's selling well, it's converting well. Those things are all easy to understand. But if Amazon is using the platform and sort of quote unquote gaming the system to their advantage, then that idea of an open marketplace seems to break down. And so, like I said, I think you've always got to remember this is their platform and we're playing by their rules. Let's remember that Amazon was the one that took the risk, laid out the capital, had Wall Street laugh at Amazon and, just completely undermined their business model for so long. And the fact that it took at least 15 years to get the Amazon retail business to where it is today. Very low margins, lots of capital infrastructure, ton of investment in cloud, fulfillment, their own, even just the fact that their own website converts so well today. They took that risk. They laid out that plan. They created something that shoppers wanted that the rest of the retail industry refused to look at or think about. The rest of the retail industry was focused on doing what it had always done. And Jeff Bezos and Amazon came in and said, we want to make this really shopper-centric. We want to give people what they want. We want to make it hugely convenient. And we want to ship things out to people within 2 days. And that was completely unheard of. So it's their platform, their rules, they created it. So first step is to understand that. The second point I want to make is that Amazon, just logically, Amazon can't really be making that much margin on their private label brands. So generally, the data from Scrape Hero, I'll link up to the research that they did in the show notes as well. But if you go to scrapehero.com, you should be able to find this article about Amazon private labels as well. But generally speaking, what they found is that 40% of Amazon private label products are priced below $20. And so in the top 4 categories where there's the most products, which is apparel, food, home and kitchen, most of those products are priced under $40. So generally speaking, you would classify most Amazon brands as quote unquote the cheap alternative to national brands. So that's one reason, a lower price, generally you're going to make just on a dollar value less money from those. And then the other thing to remember is Amazon's not doing their own manufacturing. They don't have manufacturing facilities. They're contracting all of this out to other manufacturers. So just without digging into this a whole lot, you can imagine their profit margins on their private label products have to be pretty slim. Conversely, Amazon can make 15% right off the top from marketplace sellers on Seller Central. And in addition to that 15%, they don't have to lay out any capital with purchase orders. They don't have to assign anyone to product development. The human capital resources required for running the marketplace is mostly fairly cheap customer service labor. With product development, you need to have people designing those products, branding it, launching it, advertising it. There's probably more sort of higher end labor involved with those initiatives, dollar for dollar. So my bet is that Amazon's not creating these private label brands because they're making a lot of margin. They're not doing it for the money, which leads me on to my next point, which is that Amazon, instead of this being a profitability or revenue play for Amazon, they're doing this as a play to fill in gaps in the assortment of marketplace sellers and vendors. This is all based on customer search and shopping patterns, and because brands haven't developed products at the price point or with the feature set that customers are looking for. So I understand the pushback on this might be that Amazon has all this data and they don't share it with sellers and vendors. That's a totally fair point. So Amazon does have all this data. They're able to see search patterns, heat map patterns on product pages, any kind of data that you could collect on a website. Amazon has that. And what they end up sharing with merchants is very, very limited. So yes, they're using that advantage. Back to point one, they can. It's their marketplace. But what I'm saying is they are doing this in response to gaps. And primarily, obviously, what they're seeing is gaps generally at the lower end of price range for a particular category. So given all this, what can brands do about Amazon sort of coming into their segments, creating competitive products? What to do, what to think about? Number one, I'd say don't try and beat Amazon at their own game by trying to be a price leader. Be a real brand with real benefits and real reasons why shoppers would buy your products instead of Amazon's. So consider some benefits to customers, like a guarantee that extends beyond Amazon's return policy of 30 days, or patents on your product's design or features if you have a unique product or unique features. And secondly, follow the data. Use your Amazon sales data, and as well as other things like customer reviews of your products and competitors' products, reading through all the customer comments on those that give you an indication of features that are required or what people bought instead or why they returned it. There's so much rich data in customer reviews. And if you don't have a ton on your products, look at your competitors, look at what else is going on in your category. That's going to give you insight into what people are looking for, and, beat Amazon to pip them to the post and develop a product before they recognize the opportunity. There's even a market research tool on Amazon called Amazon Insights, where you can get shopper feedback for a small fee, and you can basically do your own customer research survey with Amazon shoppers. And you can use that information to expand your product assortment, find out, what people really want, what to offer them. So I hope that this episode is helpful. I don't want it to be a downer, but the reality is Amazon does have a very large and growing suite of private label products. They've recently actually just put up a landing page on the site which invites people to apply to be manufacturers for their private label brands. So there's going to be more of these, and there's more trademarks that Amazon's registered. According to, I think, Gartner L2 has found, a huge number of trademarks that Amazon's registered that don't yet have products assigned. So they are growing this thing. I want to lay this out so that people understand this is going to be a big threat potentially to your business if you don't look at this through the lens of, we need to give shoppers what they want. We need to differentiate from Amazon. Let's figure out how we can create an assortment that Amazon can't compete with or won't compete with, or it's not attractive enough. And most importantly, build a brand that Amazon isn't equipped to do. They are not generally good at product and brand discovery. They're using their own platform to rank products and potentially, drive traffic away from brands to their own products. But outside of their platform, they're not really that great at discovery. That's one weak point that Amazon has. So if you're a brand and you can drive awareness, social influence, things like that, you're going to have a better chance of actually getting people familiar with your brand and your products, and then perhaps executing the final transaction on Amazon. But think about what benefits and what's unique about your brand and your products that you can use as a long-term defense against Amazon private label. So I'm going to leave it there for today. I hope you found this interesting, insightful, helpful. I'm going to add all of the resources to the show notes page here, and I'll catch you next week.